Hmm.
So the children, please comes up here. Come here, come here. Yeah, all the children come here. Yeah, sit on the first and the second row. No, this one for the bell master, and you can come. Yeah, you can sit. Yeah. Okay. So just sit down, please. Can you sit down, please? Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Oh, that's loud. We can start singing some of our practice songs. Maybe we can start with breathing in, breathing out. And if any of the children want to come sing and help me, I'm up here all by myself right now, so I would love some help. So if anyone wants to come sing with me, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, yeah, come on, come on. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. You can ask one. You take turns with it, yeah. We'll do I Have Arrived. Next song is I Have Arrived. And we can take this time to arrive right here, right now, with our families, with each other. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Wonderful, wonderful, everybody.
I am India.
What song should we sing next? Anything
Yeah,
good?
thank you very much. Yeah. Hey, that was me.
I like.
Party in the USA.
Okay. I like the roses. And then simple things. I like it. I like it. All right. Patience, my young apprentice. I'm sure you can find a way. No. Next, we're going to sing I Like. I like the roses, I like the daffodils, I like the mountains, I like the rolling hills, I like the twinkling stars when the sun goes down. Shooby dooby shooby dooby shooby dooby shooby dooby shoobity doobity shoobity doobity shoobity doobity shoobity doo. I like the rabbits, I like the squirrels too, I like the bluebirds, I like the roaming moose, I like all animals like me. Shoobity doobity 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 doo. Let's sing it again. I like the roses, I like the daffodils, I like the mountains, I like the rolling hills, I like the twinkling stars when the sun goes down. Shoobity doobity 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 doo. I like the rabbits, I like the squirrels too, I like the bluebirds, I like the roaming moose, I like all animals like me. Shoobity doobity 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 doo. Oh. Is it on? No.
Thank you.
Oh, well. Yeah. All right. Next, we can sing Simple Things.
Simple things.
It's pretty simple. Hello? Is this working? That's okay. You can just project. Your voices are beautiful. Everyone can hear it. Okay, well, actually, let's sing. I get my joy from the simple things coming from the earth. I get my joy from the sun that shines and the water speaks to me. Listen to the wind and listen to the water. Hear what they say. Singing hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Singing hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Does anyone else have any song sheets we can get for the children for this song?
I like number 17, All in My Heart. Am I? Is it working? Yeah, it works. Definitely works.
The sun. Oh, great. It's okay. Not everybody needs a mic. It's okay.
Put it
You
on
sing
the
loud.
ground so we can both.
All right, everyone, we can sing another song. Number 17, All in My Heart. The sun, it shines on my face and in my eyes. The sun, it shines in my heart. The sun, it shines in my heart. The river, it flows from the mountains to my toes. The river, it flows in my heart. The river, it flows in my heart. From the mountains, the flowers,
Hello?
the children and the deer, we all love each other. There's a space for everyone in my heart. Space for everyone in my heart. The trees, they sway and give oxygen every day. The trees, they sway in my heart. The trees, they sway in my heart. The birds, they fly as a school of fish swim by. The animals are all in my heart. The animals are all in my heart. From the mountains, the flowers, the children and the deer, we all love each other. There's a space for everyone in my heart. There's a place for everyone in my heart. There's a home for everyone in my heart.
So dear Toy Desanka, it's time for question and answers. Thank you, children.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for doing singing, meditation, participating today. All right, kids. I don't even know. All right, we'll now invite
So the children, please have a seat so that the question and answer panel monastic can come up. Mời sư cô Trần Tiến Khánh.
So good morning, dear teacher, dear community. Thank you for your presence. How is everyone feeling? Wonderful. Thank you for singing the songs. This morning we will have a chance to ask a question from our heart. But before that, let us enjoy listening to the sounds of the bell. We will hear 3 sounds of the bell. We sit up with our back straight but relaxed. We can fold our legs if we like, or we can straighten them if we like. Sit in a way that you're comfortable. And as you hear the sound of the bell, you come back to your breathing. Being aware of your in-breath, being aware of your out-breath. If you wish, you can place your hand on your abdomen and notice the rising, the falling of your breath as it comes in and it goes out. You can choose to have a light smile on your face to relax your muscles on your face. Helps you to relax your mind also. I think you also taught that you can place a hand on your heart too. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. So you can do that if you like. And feel your heart beating, feel your belly rising and falling as the breath comes in and out. That's all we need to do. And we listen to 3 sounds of the bell. And we practice together. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for your practice. So, dear community, this morning we have a chance to ask our questions. We will, please allow me a little bit of time just to briefly introduce the panelists up here. So from my far right is Sister Tan Ngim, or Sister Blue Sky. She's been residing at Blue Cliff for a long time, for many years. And then next to her is Ann Woods. Sister Ann Woods is also a long-time practitioner. She's been helping us with many retreats, and you've seen her doing announcements every day. And she's recently moved to the state of New York, so she's also nearby. She helped out with many things at the monastery. And then next to her, next to me, is Uncle Yu. Uncle Yu Le. He's also has been here many times, and recently he's been sort of like a resident here. He comes and goes, and every chance he gets, he will stay here for many weeks and help out with construction projects at the monastery. And then my name is Brother PK. I also live here at Blue Cliff. So that's us up here representing the Sangha to offer response to your questions. We don't know everything. We will respond and answer your question based on our own practice and to the best of our ability. And know that when you ask a question, you might also have an answer already, or the answer will come to you maybe later on while you practice walking meditation or working meditation or even playing meditation. Also know that your question can benefit many people There are those of us who are shy, who may not want to be sitting up here to ask a question. But then there are those of us who are not so shy, and we are willing to come up here and ask a question ourselves. And so you are welcome to ask any question that's sitting in your heart, except the ones that are too abstract or too vague. So we don't need to ask those questions. Ask questions that are more practical. And we would like for our member of the children program to ask first. We will have time for maybe 2 to 4 questions from the children program. If you are ready, you can come up and sit. There's a few chairs up here. The person that asked the question will move to the first chair here. And so before we ask a question, we will listen to one sound of the bell. And then so help us to recollect and to be calm if we're nervous. So the bell help us to relax. And then we pick up the microphone, we ask our question. And then the answer will be given. And then after that, you will come back to your seat. And then the next person will come up and listen to the sound of the bell. And then, so after the children ask a question, they will be invited to go to their program. And then we ask the teens to come up, and then the young adults, and then the adults. So we ask the adults to be patient, to allow our young people to share their questions first. And we would try to keep our questions short and precise. And hopefully the answer will also be succinct and precise. We will try our best. So we are ready. All right. So let us enjoy another sound of the bell, and then our friend will ask a question. Thank you, Sangha.
My name is Logan, and my question is, how, if you have pests in your house, how would you get rid of them mindfully?
I repeat the question to make sure I heard it correctly. If you have pests in your house, how do you get rid of them mindfully?
Dear respected Thai, dear brothers and sisters, thank you so much for the questions. And I was impressed when you put your hand on your stomach and your chest when you breathe. That's a very good habit. For me, I always, when my children were young, we taught the children not to kill. So sometimes we have fly into the house. So each of us would have a plastic bag, and we just slowly come and capture this fly and let it out. Sometimes it's take quite a while, but we enjoy when we let they fly out of the house. And then just basically that's it. And we try as hard as we can. Sometimes it's impossible to capture. If I see a cockroach, I use a clear cup and captured it, and use a card, like a thin piece of cardboard, and slide under, and then pick it up and take it outside. So it's just the practice that we want to do again and again, just kind of help us to be aware of other living beings around us also. So that's hopefully it will help answer your question. Thank you so much.
So, my name is Indio, and people have asked this question before, but I forgot. Why are you bald?
So the question is only for us monastics because, or maybe Uncle you. So why are we bald? But you probably asked the monastics, right? Okay, so we leave Uncle you out. Sister, you want to respond first? Why are you bald?
Dear Thầy, dear brothers and sisters and dear friends, why are we bald? I don't know why. Do you know why? Do you want to know why? Our bald hair is a symbol of simplicity. To be, to let us aware that we're in the service of serving all living beings with mindfulness and awareness. Yeah? And that we don't waste so many shampoo to to wash our hair. Okay? It's a symbol of simplicity. Understand? Is it good enough? Yeah, okay, thank you.
My name's Adam, and I just want to ask this question that that circle in Thai's writing, what does that symbol mean? That circle in Thai's writing, well, what does that mean?
Thank you, Anne, for your question. I believe, and this is what I heard. So when that's called the circle is called the Zen circle. It represents completeness You heard the term full circle? Yeah, so full circle. And so the circle represents completeness. And so when we see the circle, hopefully we will feel that we are also complete, just the way we are. And so the circle is a representation of the insight that each of us is also a complete person. And so seeing the circle helps to remind us that we're also okay, we're complete. And then whatever is written in the center is also for us to practice. And sometimes you only see just a circle with nothing inside, right? Yeah. So when we see that, you're also, okay, that circle means completeness, then I am also complete, so I don't feel a lack. Yeah. So it's for us to practice. All right. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joa, and my question is, how old is this Plum Village?
How old is Plum Village? I know this question, I can answer you. So Plum Village is a big community. Blue Cliff is a part of Plum Village. So Plum Village started in the country called France. You know where that is? You know, wonderful. So our teacher, whose photo is over there on that altar, he passed away 2022. So he started Plum Village Center in France in 1982. That's a long time ago. So this is 2025. So that is 43 years. Okay? So 43 years Plum Village practice started. And then Blue Cliff, 18 years. Okay, thank you.
My name is Rian, and my question is, since you've gone bald, by any chance, do you miss your hair?
We'll let Uncle Yu answer that question first.
Thank you for the question. So it's very interesting. I never thought of it. But when I was younger, I have a lot of hairs. Yeah, a lot of hair that it just, I had to cut it every 2 weeks. But I don't know, but I just start losing as fast as I can remember. and you kind of get used to the look. Sometimes I know that some of us may want to have more hair because help us to look younger. But for me, it's normal. It's okay. Right? We just accept who we are, the way we are, and then that's all. That's how we all are. Right? All of us have something different all the time, and we just say, "Oh, that's who I am." I have 5 brothers, and only my oldest one, and I am the youngest one, losing hair. The 3 brothers in the middle still have full hairs. Even the 3rd brother still have dark hair. He doesn't even have a lot of white. So all of us have something different in the family, even in the family. So do I miss it? No, I don't miss it. But it's just me. Thank you.
Sister Blue Sky, do you miss your hair?
Do I miss my hair? Well, the other day, last week, my sister came to visit me, and she asked me, do I miss my hair? And I say, well, sometimes I pretend to have long hair again, And then, when I was young, my hair is very thick and long, and I just pretend I have long hair, okay? Yeah, I do miss my hair, but then I like it bald better because I don't need to do all this hairdo, Yeah, thank you.
For me, I don't miss my hair because I'm also growing bald. But I did have curly hair. I had a small afro growing up. Yeah, I'm glad I became a monk so I can shave it all off. But I actually, living in a monastery, I love to look at people's hair. I enjoy seeing people hair come in here and people dye different colors. We used to have Clytie who lived here at the monastery she's an older woman. And she lived here for more than 10 years. And once in a while in the summertime, she would dye her hair a different color. And I remember always complimenting her, oh, please do that for us. Wear your hair whatever style you like because we don't have hair anymore, but we enjoy seeing all different colors and length and texture. And so unless you're bald, if you have hair, enjoy your hair. But we had our turn, and so we don't miss our hair anymore. Maybe Sister Blue Sky says sometimes you still do. Okay. Well, thank you for the question, young friend. So we listen to a bell, the sound of the bell, and then our next question.
My name is Phoenix, and what's the story of the Buddha?
What's the story of the Buddha? You mean the life story? Okay. You have time? He does.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear friend, thank you for the question. Since we were asked to keep things short, we won't run through the entire life of the Buddha. But there is a wonderful book, and it makes a great storybook for children and adults, called Old Path, White Clouds, where Thai really tells the story of the Buddha and the way he became the Buddha and the teachings he offered as the Buddha. So I highly recommend that. Very briefly, the story is he was born as the son of a king, and his dad really wanted him to become king. And at some point, he just felt like things don't feel right to me. I need to go figure things out. And so he snuck out, and he came across someone who is sick, someone who is old, someone who had either died or looked like he was dying. And he said, wait a minute, I haven't been exposed to these things. What is this about? And so he went on a journey until he he studied with a lot of different teachers. Some of them helped him maybe a little bit, but he still didn't feel like he got there. And one day he just said, I have to figure this out. And he sat down and meditated. And it came to him that we're all human. We all have the same experiences, and we can, through inner reflection and recognizing the ways in which we contribute to our own suffering and the suffering of others, we can find happiness. So that's even more than the Reader's Digest version. Is that sufficient for today? Thank you for asking the question.
My name is Ashley. I have 2 questions. First, why can't we use anything but the bell? Like, can't we use anything except the bell? And also, why can't you wear any color different than brown or gray?
I just repeat the question. The first one is, can we use something else other than the sound of the bell, right, to practice? And then the second is, for those of us who are wearing brown or gray, why are we restricted to just those 2 colors? Why can't we wear another color, right? Okay.
Thank you for those questions. I love the bell question because there's so many ways in which we can recognize bells of mindfulness without the sound of a bell. One of the things that I learned years ago, being here at Blue Cliff, was to pause when the phone rang. I'm realizing now with cell phones, we often don't hear a ring, but we would pause, come back to our breath, let the phone ring for 3 times, and then answer it. And I discovered I was always much more present with whomever was on the other side, other end of the phone. But for those of us in the lay world too, some of us are often, this is for the adults, often driving, and it may just be we're in traffic and the red lights ahead of us, of the car ahead of us, might be a bell of mindfulness. This morning, I sat for a little while. I wanted to just settle my energy, and I was listening to the sound of the birds. Those are wonderful sounds, bells of mindfulness. So we can find bells of mindfulness, even if it's not a bell per se, throughout our day. There can be many things, so I invite you to experiment with your bells of mindfulness.
Okay, I can give a response to the second question of yours, and that is why the monastics can only wear brown and gray, right? Sometimes yellow. Also, you noticed. Okay. So briefly, the color brown, our teacher chose that because our tradition is Vietnamese tradition, so roots in Vietnam. And the color brown is so that we identify and be in solidarity with the peasants. The peasants are the farmers, and in Vietnam, the farmers, they wear brown because it's the color of the earth. So if they work in the field and they get dirty, it won't show so much so they continue to work until the end of the day, and then they go back and take a shower and change their clothes. So if you were to wear white and you work in the fields, it will be, by the time you finish, it will be brown anyway. And so it makes sense just to wear the color of the earth. And so you're close to the earth. And then the gray is sort of like I think it's for the lay people that still have hair, that goes to the temple, and they want to have a sort of uniform. So in Vietnam, only the monastic would wear the robe that is gray. That is brown. But the short robe inside, you see some of us wear that anybody could wear. But when they go to the temple, they want to wear a long gray robe just to show that they are a practitioner of that temple. So they just pick on gray because it's the color of incense smoke. When you have an incense, you see the smokes, it's sort of gray. So they pick that color for their uniform. So it's basically uniform. And then when we have ceremonies, like tomorrow morning, we will have ceremony and we have a ceremonial robe. And that is orange or yellow that you saw. Perhaps one day in America, in the future, maybe we will change it to blue. Because the blue is the color of the workers here. And so that could be a possibility. But for now, we're okay. You're okay? All right. Thank you. That will be enough for the day. But we do have one more question from the children program. It's a written question. Okay, so the written question from the children program: how can we practice being gentle with ourselves? How can we practice being gentle with ourselves? This is from a young person. And we invite the teens to come and line up. Thank you.
Thank you to whoever shared that question. It's so helpful because many times someone has a question, maybe they're afraid to ask, and others may be holding the same question. So I appreciate whoever wrote this question and shared it with us. And it's a very deep question because I think it's so important for us to be gentle with ourselves. I'll just share a little bit about how I practice with that, and I'll tell you that it's been a long journey for me to learn how to do that, and I'm still practicing with that. One of the ways, I think Sister Trinim shared with us the other night, is just putting a hand on our belly and a hand on our heart and pausing with our breath. Just helps us remember to be gentle with ourselves. I also have begun to notice that sometimes I'm doing something and I'm really not doing it, whether I'm doing it for myself or someone else, but maybe I'm not doing it with a real sense of care and compassion and kindness. And when I notice that, it's a reminder to me to pause. Some of you I've shared, I have a little practice I call letting go of the shoulds. Because sometimes I find I'm doing something because I think I'm supposed to, but it's not really serving anyone. And that's a reminder to me to come back to my breath and come back to my body and be gentle with myself, be kind to myself. That's what I have to share. There may be other suggestions up here from my colleagues, but I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, we would like now to invite all the members of the children program. When you hear the sound of the small bell, you stand up. So please rise, and then you turn around and face your parents and your aunts and uncles, and with the second sound, you give them a bow. Offer them a lotus flower. And then please make your way out of the hall following the brother and the sisters leading the program. Enjoy your day. And those of us who wish to take this moment to give ourselves a stretch, you're welcome to do so. And there's room up here. If you wish to move up here closer to us, you're also welcome to do so. You can stand up and do some stretches. The teens, you guys are ready to ask questions? Okay, so when you're ready, please sit back down, and we will enjoy listening to the questions from our teens. They're discussing among themselves because they have a group questions which written down, and then some of them might have their own personal questions. So we'll try to make your question, please post your question brief and concise, and then our panelists will also try our best to give short answers and concise answer. But we also know that the adults also want to ask some questions. Okay, let us enjoy one sound of the bell. We come back to our breathing, and then we'll ask our question.
How can one help communicate something about oneself that the other person, such as parents, don't understand, without watering seeds of anger, upsetness, or frustration? So just passing down. This is the teen group. They formulate these questions together.
Dear respected Thầy and dear Sangha, this is a very interesting question indeed. It's not simple, but when we come here learning about the practice with your parents here, so we all have the same foundations. In my household, I would establish a rule. Right? So when we feel anger, we will stop will not speak anymore, and will ask to be excused. And then we would make a time to come back another time to communicate. Sometimes we use a bell because here we practice that when we hear the sound of the bell, we will stop and breathe. And every time we return to our breath like that, we automatically find ourselves a calmness in ourselves. So that will help us to control and be careful with our emotion. And now, about the subject of communication is very sensitive. It depends very much on the household and your beliefs and the parents' beliefs. Sometimes there are things that you're allowed to do and sometimes you're not allowed to do. For example, in my case, when the children are young, if they want to go to a slumber party, then I have to find out who the other house are, what the parents are like, and what kind of activities and how you sleep together before I allowed the children to go. And I normally will take the children there to meet the parents and everything else. It's a normal protocol. Now, your parents may have a different protocol, but that is the only way for them to feel safe. So if you feel that the protocol is excessive, I think that would sometimes be, then you need to introduce your friends to your parents ahead of time so that they will see who you are, who your friends are, what your circle of friends are like, and things of that nature that would help the parent to feel more comfortable. Sometimes you want to do something, it all comes down to the environment that you will go to. And it will help your parent more comfortable with it. So be gentle, make a suggestive request ahead of time. That way your parent will prepare themselves to listen to what you have to ask and help them to understand where you're heading, where you're going to. And I think that the key thing is that communication had to be open and clear ahead of time. It's very difficult for the parents when you ask something that happened immediately. So like you say, this afternoon I'm going to go out with my friends. So I'm sure the question the parent will ask right away would be, whose are the friends that you go out with, right? So if your parent knows ahead of who your circle of friends are, it's easy and give them more comfort in allowing to go out. So my feeling is that it's communication and communication and communication. We need to keep that channel open all the time. And you know, if you ask for something that out of the norm, then you need to think ahead, plan ahead, so that your parents have times to see into what your request would be and how would they measure their comfort level. It's all come down to that the protection that your parents want to keep you in, want to make sure you're in a safe environment. That's all they want to have. So we just want to allow them time and information for them to understand where we're going. I don't think that all parents would very understanding because they've been where you were, where you are. So with that, it would be easier to do. And in the family, I would have a regular conversation with parents In our culture, in Vietnamese culture, a dinner time is a good time for the whole family to talk to each other. Sometimes we just say, "Oh, today I met a new friend. This friend, who he is or she is, and what they like." That way, your parent will have ahead of time knowing who you associate with in school. And then event in school, things like that. So make your parent feel comfortable. They understand what you're facing, what you're dealing with every day at school and around you. And they will open up easier. And so I hope that would help. And good luck. Thank you.
Just double checking, you guys all up here to ask a question from the writing, or you also have your own questions? Some of you have your own questions too. Okay. Let us listen to a sound of the bell first.
A question that I had personally was how to practice with strong, repetitive, and distracting thoughts so that they don't control or take too much of your time.
I can't see you, but thank you for the question. And I think this also maybe touches on the first question as well. Often we have strong thoughts coming up, and one practice that I find very helpful is to begin to notice where I feel those thoughts, what I feel rising in my body. And that itself becomes a bell of mindfulness. I may have strong thoughts of anger, and I may feel tightness in my chest or in my throat. So beginning to just connect, right? We're here to practice connecting mind and body, noticing that. And when I can feel it in my body, it does serve as a bell of mindfulness for me to just stop. That's what our bells of mindfulness are for, right? To pause, come back to my breathing, and then that may create some ease and spaciousness. And so with the first question, for example, maybe even approaching a parent and saying, this is what I'm feeling at the moment. I would love to talk to you about it. Can we find a time that would be good for both of us? Doing your best to begin connecting what's happening in the mind with what's happening in the body, and let those feelings be a bell of mindfulness to stop and pause. Others may want to add to that. Thank you.
May I propose something, that since you're sitting up here, that you ask your personal questions? Yes, first, and then we will read these questions, and then we will answer them instead of going alternately. Okay, so you have a personal question? Okay. Okay, so two of you, your job is to read this. Okay, we'll save you for that. Next person has a personal question. Okay, here we go.
My question is, where did the word monk come from?
Sister pointed because I'm a monk, so I'm supposed to answer that question. Actually, I don't know. Monk is an English word. Maybe it has roots in Latin or Greek. So you probably have to Google that. And an AI might answer you. But in Vietnamese, which I know Vietnamese, so I can answer from that. We have a term, suk si, and that means the person who leaves his or her home or their home to become a spiritual practitioner. So they come to a place and practice together. So in the Buddha's time, they would go into the woods, and they group together and they practice meditation. So we call it the person that leaves home. Translated verbatimly is the person who leaves home. So that's what describes us. And those of you who still stay home but practice, we call you cư sĩ, which means a person who's still dwelling at home, but also a practitioner. And so I can't answer you the reason why the word monk in English comes about. So please find out and then let me know. Right. Thank you for the question nonetheless. Okay, next person, we will listen to a sound of the bell, and then we will ask our question.
What does a normal day look for you in the monastery? Sorry. What does a normal day look? Yes, for you in the monastery.
So friends ask, what does a normal day looks like in the monastery? Sister Blue Sky.
Our normal days are like lazy days. I'm just kidding. In a mindful way, lazy days. But we also do the practice. We have a schedule that we follow by every day. That's our normal day. And we have, just like today, retreat. Besides retreat, we have a schedule on the board. We follow the schedule. And then at the end of Sunday, which is followed by Monday, is our lazy day. So that's our normal scheduled day.
I'd like to know more about how Dharma names work. Like, I've heard things about, like, you get, like, a first part based on, like, the generation and different stuff like that. But I want to hear it from, like, you guys.
So I don't know if everyone heard the question, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the question was, how are the Dharma names determined, their lineage name? And you'll see on the forms, which we'll mention again later in the announcements, the 5 mindfulness trainings application form invites you to share your aspiration for practicing with the trainings. What is that going to look like in your daily life? And from that, there's some deep reflection among the brothers and sisters to find a name for you that reflects your aspirations. So for example, years ago when I received the 5 trainings, I was here, I had young children at home, and I was really struggling to be present with them. And that was my aspiration, was how can I be more present with my children? And many of you probably can relate to being a working parent. And so the Dharma name I received is Compassionate Presence of the Heart. It was a way of reminding me daily, this is my aspiration, how can I continue to practice and live with this? I hope that was helpful. Did it not?
So, like, is there a difference between, like, that longer name, like, I think I have one, it's Pure Understander of Everyone, and then, like, a name like Sister Blue Sky? Like, is there a difference between those?
Yeah, so, yeah, I understand your question now. So we have a Dharma name, which sounds really like practice-oriented, right? Like compassionate presence of the heart or the source. And then there's someone who named Blue Sky. So, yeah, what's up with that? Or PK, you know, why is that a Dharma name?
Yeah. So what's up with my name? I don't know. You have to ask my teacher. You know, when I was ordained as a novice, and I don't remember my aspiration as a novice. I just write a long story of myself and then my vows and everything. And I come to a point where he gave me a name, Sister Tan Yin, which means blue, green, or sounds. So that's how my teacher gave me the name, because I was ordained as a novice. If you become a monk, you will have a name. And then there's a meaning to that name. Do you want to be one? Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope you get the idea is that our Dharma names are for our practice and they are formal, but also we have translations of our names. So Blue Sky is one translation of her name. And then we also use nicknames, like in the children program we have Sister Cẩm Tu, but she goes by Sister Tiramisu. So for sure our teacher didn't give her that name, but the children liked it, so she called herself Sister Tiramisu, and Brother Nyat Tam, Brother One Mind, his nickname is Brother Waffle. I don't know whether he likes waffle or not, but the children call him Brother Waffle. So we have nicknames. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the 2 representatives, I would suggest you just read out all the questions, and then we'll pick one to answer. You have 4 left, right? 3 left, okay. Go for it.
So one of them was how to take care of one's mental health without neglecting relationships and responsibilities that one has with others.
Another one is, what are practices to help us limit the use of quote-unquote useless usages of smart devices, such as unhealthy apps, doom scrolling, etc.?
And then the last one is how to practice with unhealthy, reoccurring thoughts around craving and attachment.
Wow, I see the teens really, you did your homework. Good job, Sister True Vow and Brother Nhất Địa. So these, let's see. So the last three questions. Okay, I will pick one and then I'll pass to the rest. How to practice, what are practices to help us limit the use of useless, quote unquote, useless usages of smart devices like unhealthy apps? Doom scrolling. Okay. What is doom scrolling?
I believe that is just a term that's used when you just keep scrolling and there's like no end. Like you just keep using your device.
I really need to brush up on Gen Alpha's terminologies. Sorry, I'm old school. What are practices to help to limit the use of smart devices? In the monastery, the monks and the nuns also have smart devices, and some of us are also a little bit addictive to them too. But thankfully, we have the schedule of practice that we abide to, and we also limit our use. We had a meeting. This is for the brother side. The sister sides have a different set of rules and regulations that they decide upon. And on the brother side, we have hours from what time to what time. And after that, cut off. And so that's one way to help us to limit the use. Another one is we have, every week we have Mondays a lazy day, but our Tuesdays are internet-free day, which means no Wi-Fi. And also car-free day, we don't use the vehicles. So it's also for us to detach. Of course, there are emergency cases that we need to use the phone, and we do. But so we set those parameters up to help us. But individually, we also need to set up a schedule. So at home, you have your parents set up that schedule for you. And I hope you also have a discussion with them so that you both agree. Give or take, compromise, and be reasonable. Because you know, and everyone knows that time spent on the smart device too much, you lose contact with other people and you get tired mentally and physically. And so have an agreement with your family to use just enough time that you need to be on the phone. And in terms of doom scrolling, I would suggest that you set a timer on your phone. I think there is that capability to remind you. There is a mindfulness bell app that you can, I don't think that will be useless. I think it's very useful, the mindfulness bell app. And you can time for it to chime every 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So, and then you have to make an agreement with yourself. When you hear that chime while you were scrolling, you put it down and you breathe. You can go further if you hear that chime, okay, my time with the smart device is done. I'm going to go take a walk, do something else. So you have to sit down and really look at your own situation and your usage of your devices. And since you already know, when you ask this question, that's a lot of time wasted. So you have to prioritize how you spend your time on your phone. I know that during this retreat, the team program has asked you to put away, or they take away your device right in the morning, right? And then return to you in the evening. I think that's very, very, that's a good step to go in that direction. You can do a similar thing at home. But you have to be honest with yourself that this thing is taking away my time and my energy. So I'm going to limit its use. And I'm sure you know more than me of how to set it up to do that. And then one last thing is that ask the people around you to help remind you to get off your phone. If when you have that agreement already with your family and when they come to you and tell you to take it off, you won't be angry at them. But if you're angry, then you're not upholding your agreement. So make that agreement this weekend when you go home with your parents. And tell them to remind you if they see that you're on the phone too much, and vice versa. You can tell your parents to do the same. Okay, thank you. How much time do we have left? We can go until lunch, right? It's 11:45 now. Okay, sorry. Thank you, parents, for being patient. We have 2 more questions.
I'm going to defer to my colleagues here on more substantive responses, but I wanted to just offer 2 short responses. One is, I think, well, since this is where we were, I'll talk about, I associate doom scrolling with the continuation of like the ongoing repetition of bad news. I know this applies to many adults as well as teens. And so I just want to share, there are actually a lot of wonderful resources out there to see the good news, because there's actually a lot of good news out there, and making a practice of looking for and sharing in the family or with friends the good news really helps counter some of the emotional impact, mental and emotional impact of the bad news out there. So I just wanted to share that. And the other 2 questions remind me of the question we had from one of the children about how to be gentle with ourselves. And I just want to share, too, that I think we often expect a lot of ourselves, and maybe we can just notice whether we're expecting a little too much, and maybe reflect on whether we can adjust those expectations a little bit. We want to be responsible, and sometimes that becomes, that brings up a lot of suffering because we're trying to do so much. So just an invitation to reflect. That's what I have to offer on those questions.
Dear respected Thầy, dear Sangha, I'm trying to take an effort at answering your question about mental health. To me, you have to learn to take care of yourself first. If you know that you are not fully healthy, then we know we already have limit in our ability, whether it take care of yourself or take care of others. So with that awareness, you first of all, you have to take care of yourself, because without fully recover, you cannot fulfill any obligations. And you may even hurt the relationship while you are not healthy. So that is the number one effort, number one priority that we need to do. The others around you, the loved one, friends, also need to know that you have mental conditions. Then they can offer help. They can have more understanding. Because if, for example, if your condition make you feel moody, then when you change your mood, your friends and loved one would understand and know how to handle you in that case. So that could be a complete circle of communication all around. It's very difficult to address a mental health condition because it depends on a lot of conditions, various conditions. So there also time that you probably have to be away from the loved one, to take care of yourself first. And I believe that with that awareness alone, you would be able to help yourself a lot with your conditions. You will have your drive to get out of the conditions. You will be to know that you would have to seek help. The very dangerous thing to me would be denial that you have health and mental conditions. And that happened a lot. I have a brother who just refused to do things. And he would looking for all kind of excuse. So he would stay in one place and smoke. And then we said, no, you need to get out. You need to do something else. I offered to take him places. And he would say, no, I'm not healthy enough to go anywhere. I'm not healthy enough to run an airplane. So things like that is not only hurting him, but it's difficult for loved one to help him. So the first thing is you have to recognize that you need help. And with that awareness, it will, with the help with loved one, family, and friends, you will do much better. So, and I would believe that it starts with us, ourselves, have to know your conditions, have to accept that the fact that you need help, then things will resolve from there. I hope that helps. And yes.
Okay, so thank you very much for. Please give flowers to our friends who represent the teen groups to ask the questions. Okay, you guys can go back now. We invite the young adults and the adults. If you have questions, please come. We have, I think we will stop at 15 after. If that's okay with everyone, another 20 minutes and then we're done. Okay.
Dear Thai, dear community, my name is Francesca, and I'm so grateful to be here. And I have a first question about the practice, and I wonder if you could share some tips, suggestions about how to keep your practice when you're dealing with bureaucracy, when you're dealing with paying bills, when you're dealing with waiting for hours on someone on, I don't know, the telephone bill who is not answering, and then they don't know what you're talking. So all these practical questions about life that I think it's easier to practice when you're sitting, but when you're dealing with everyday life. And then two questions about this specific practice. What is the equality complex? Because you say, like, I get free of the inferiority complex, of the superiority complex, but also of the equality complex. And the last, if I can, if you accept the 5 trainings, the 5 mindfulness training, is it interior, like personal commitment, or is it religious commitment? Is it faith commitment? Thank you so much.
That's 3 questions.
Too much. You can choose.
Okay, first question is how to bring the practice home in practical situation when you have to deal with people, situations. Bureaucracy. Yeah. an example is standing in line waiting on the phone, and people just talk rubbish. The second one is superiority complex, inferiority complex, but what's up with equality complex? Why is that a complex? And the third one is when you receive the 5 training, is that a personal commitment or religious commitment? Wonderful question. Everybody's looking up, it's a blue sky. I will give a shout out to the third question. When you receive the 5 trainings, it's more like a personal commitment and community commitment, not religious. Because why is it not religious? In the writing itself that our teacher has revised them, there is awareness. We start with awareness. And when we start with awareness, we were able to see what we need to do and what we don't need to do. And so these are very practical application into our own lives. And we don't need to be a Buddhist. We don't need to be a religious person to practice them. They're pretty common sense. And so when you take them up as a practice and apply them in your lives, you will see, hopefully you will see the benefits that practicing them would manifest in your life. And it has nothing to do with being religious. And so by receiving them, that doesn't mean that you are a Buddhist. Yeah, it doesn't. You can still remain with your own faith and apply these practices skillfully into your own life to deepen your own faith in your own religion if you have one, or not. So again, the practice has roots in Buddhism, but you don't have to be Buddhist to practice them. So it's more of a personal commitment. And communal commitment, because when you do the ceremony like tomorrow morning to receive them, the community is aware and give you support. And if you know one another through your Dharma name that, oh, this person also practicing the 5 trainings and I'm practicing the 5 training, you find camaraderie and support among each other. Okay. Next 2 questions.
I will answer the first one, so it's easy. When I first practiced with Thai, what I would do, I purchase a bell. So I bring this bell home to practice. So I bring it home, I practice along with the bell, and I set up my, it's called the meditation room or the practice room or the breathing room. So that's how I do the practice at home. So my advice is to bring the practice home by bringing the bell first. Then you can practice other practices. You can do this and if you are working, you can also practice walking meditation. You know, from where your desk to go to the elevator or whatever, you can do that at your workplace. You can bring that home to do the practice. That's what I do. I mean, yeah, so even though I do the shopping for the Sangha, I walk mindfully, I pick up things, I take out things. I just walk mindfully as I go to the aisle grabbing the foods. So that's how I do from outside of the monastery. And I also practice at the airport. You know, when you're at the airport, you do walking meditation as well. And then when you have time, you just sit mindfully and follow your in-breath and out-breath. That's also the practice. Yeah.
Thank you, Francesca, for those questions. I might just add a little bit to what Sister Blue Sky just shared, because I was particularly resonating with your concern around dealing with bureaucracy and waiting in lines. And I think just as Sister Blue Sky shared, what a wonderful bell of mindfulness to come back to my breath and just breathe. And that enables me to calm so that when I'm finally connected with the person, whether it's in person at a counter or on the phone, I can be more skillful and really invite skillful speech in. And sometimes it gets really frustrating. And so there's those crazy thoughts, those annoying thoughts that I can feel in my body. So yet again, a reminder, I'm feeling a little agitation at the moment. Let me come back to my breath. Let me pause and find the skillful speech to see whether I can engage in a way that this person can also hear and respond to. I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
So the question concerning equality complex, if we read into Buddhism and we practice Buddhism for some time, we will know that there is the teaching on non-self. And that means we learn to see the interconnectedness between one another, between ourselves and others. And so when we're able to see that, then we will be able to see that there's actually no separate. We're not separate entities. And when we're able to see that, then we will no longer need to compare. So when you're in one of these three complexes, you're actually comparing yourself to others. And comparisons can bring suffering and often bring suffering. Oh, I am less than the other person. I will try very hard to be better. There is suffering in that. And then when we're actually better, we have this pride, this sense that we're above everybody else. So that's superiority. That's also a sense of suffering. And so those two are easily understandable. But when we also compare, I'm going to have to be equal to that person. So there's also some suffering in there because we still see that we're separate and we want to level up or we want to be better. And so the teaching, the sublime teaching of the Buddha is that when we're able to transcend those three complexes, we are a free person. But that doesn't mean that we don't fight for equality in society. We still fight for equality for people. But in our own practice, we have to practice to transcend that sense of separateness. So when we're able to touch that interconnectedness, and it's okay to fight for justice, it's okay to fight for equality, because we see that there is suffering in society when people are not equal, and there is all this different separateness. And so practicing to see that the interconnected between us and others, we're able to transcend and really live the teaching of non-self. When we're actually interconnected and being equal or lesser or more doesn't make sense anymore. When you're a parent to your child, you don't see that you're superior to your child. You don't even see you equal. You just love. You love your child with no conditions. And so you practice like that with other people. It's tough. It's not easy, but the aspiration is there. And together we can do that. Thank you.
Dear teachers, dear Thai, dear Sangha, my name is Gina. I wanted to extend a little discussion of the first mindfulness training that we started to talk about with some folks yesterday, with a very specific practical question. So in a letter to Blue Cliff in 2007, Thai wrote about the importance of us as a community doing what we can to engage mitigation of climate change. And one of the actions he talked about was adopting a fully vegan diet, or vegetarian, he said, including not using dairy and eggs. What I think a lot of us have enjoyed in this retreat is the delicious vegan food that's homemade, the Vietnamese food that for some of us is not native. One of my sanghas used to call it the 3 jewels, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What I noticed is that sometimes where there's some variation is in some of the Western like condiments and ingredients. And I'm wondering if there's barriers to adopting like vegan mayonnaise, you know, fully vegan waffles, things like that. And what we as a community can do to move a little further in that direction, understanding that individuals are not required to be 100% vegan in order to move in that direction, but wanting to encourage that movement as a community.
So just to paraphrase the question is like at our retreat centers, our teacher in 2007 has written a letter encouraging people to adopt a vegan diet, and he suggested to the monasteries to actually adopting that when we serve the public. So for the most part, we're able to do that, and so I think we need to be more aware, basically, among our residents here, and to see that. And I think at least, I know some of our elder brother and sister has often reminded the Sangha and the brothers and sisters who grocery shop for us, to try our best to buy first vegan vegetables, and second organic. And we have so far have tried our best, but we're not at 100%. And we will take that into consideration, and we will try our best to do so. I know stuff like mayonnaise, some of the soy sauces also might have some ingredients that have milk or egg. And so we have been reminding each other when we serve food to the public, we have to be vegan. But sometimes there's oversight. And this is not to rationalize, but it's just to say that some of our shoppers are not, we're not fluent in English, and we just see something and we get it, and we don't read the ingredients, so sometimes we might not understand. Even some of the stuff that says non-vegan, but there's always a little thing that says this might contain milk or something, you know, at that source, and sometimes we overlook that. Just so you know, we also eat pizza once in a while. And pizza without cheese is not really pizza. There are some delicious vegan cheese, I know. When we order pizza, we usually order a couple of vegan pizzas. Most of us here are, I would say 95% vegan. But because we don't want to be so strict, there's also the issue of budgeting, and also some of the monastics, because of health reasons, they also have to eat egg and some dairy products, and we have to make room for that too. And so we are heading towards 100%, but I don't think we'll ever get there. We'll try our best. But always on the table, we try to cook only vegan food to help realize our teacher's vision. So thank you for the inquiry.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, my name is Rehana, and I've heard Thai speak about holding or maintaining your root religion alongside the Plum Village tradition. And I come from an Ismaili Muslim family who believes in reincarnation and that the soul is on an eternal journey through various forms, from plant, animal, human, until it reaches its enlightenment and reunion with the source. How could that interweave with the belief of us being a continuation of our ancestors?
I'm just going to offer a personal perspective. It's not like I have a magic answer. But we do invite what we call dual belonging. So many of us, we're all invited, and many of us choose to really stay connected to our root tradition. And there can sometimes appear to be different views between what we practice here and our root tradition. For me, I think that's just a very personal internal inquiry. And I think finding the place that feels right to you is great. Rather than seeing, I think we often just want a clear answer to something because it makes life easier. But the practice is really just an invitation to look inward and find what's appropriate for us. So that's one perspective. Thank you.
Dear respected Thai, dear Sangha, the Thai teaching is that we every moment in our life, right, every actions, every thought, we pass it on to every environment around us, whether it's as a human being, whether it's just simply tree and minerals. That imprint is already the continuation that we're doing. We don't have to wait until the last day when we take the last breath to say, continue on. The continuation is already there. We can see it in our children. That's the easiest thing to see, because every action, every thought, every habit we have, the children received it, and they carry it forward. So that is our reincarnations already being present in the present time. Now, when we all the way, just like Thai teaching about passing the light, the fire of a candles. So when we move to the next candles, it's not exactly the same, but it's not exactly different. So we part of us is already there, already passing on to the next one. Now, in reincarnations, we say there is a being that come around. But in Buddhism, there is no entity, unique entity that going to the next life. There's nothing as such. It's just our storage conscious that continue. And then when we in the new environment, the seed in us is sprouting again. Depends on the environment, the stimulations, the conditions that we come into. So we don't need to wait any time. Right here, right now, we already passing on ourselves into our children, into the environment. Every word we utter, every thought we have, other people receive, and that being carrying forward, just like ripple on the surface of a lake. So that's the teaching. So that's why in our today, when we live, we want to very conscious of what we passing on. And that's why Thầy taught us to look into ourselves, recognize the habit, and transform the unwholesome seed into wholesome seed. So that what we passing on is we're not passing on anything that unwholesome. So I hope that would help to clear. Thank you so much.
Respected Thai teachers, I'm Binoy. My question is a little bit twofold. In morning chanting, I recognize certain words which came from the scriptures, Bodhisattva, and I could recognize certain Sanskrit words. I am guessing that for monkhood, you probably follow teachings of Thai and maybe refer back to other scriptures also. But across your journey in your monkhood, in your monastic life, how do you evaluate that you have grown as a monk? How do you understand your growth, whether I'm a better person from yesterday and today? The life of monastic life is a little bit different than what we might be serving as the lay people. And those conditions give you a different outlook and different mindset. So how would you understand that you have possibly moved on to a next phase? Maybe next phase is not the right word for it, but how have you grown? How do you evaluate yourself for that?
Question is, as a monastic, how have you seen that you have grown in the practice day to day since you're living your monastic life? Is a growth based on the different practices? Do you see a growth in yourself, a change in yourself from, say, last year to this year to next year?
So, dear Thầy, dear brothers and sisters, I don't think I haven't grown at all. I just the way I am. I just do the practice. If I feel I'm growing, then I know I'm growing. Anyway, I know when I was a novice, I am very shy. I'm very shy in front of people, very shy of sharing. I don't even go to the Dharma sharing for, for the retreat. I always hide myself. Until one time, I get discouraged that I need to go out to share the practice. So I grew in the practice day by day by, sharing the practice with all the people here. And not only that, I also love to give Dhamma talks, which I am not capable of. And day by day, when I sit quietly and I choose the words or phrase, and then I practice with it. One year I practice peace in myself. Then I have to practice peace in myself in order to share peace with others. And one year I just have a phrase that I need to let go. If I let go something with myself, then I can share my letting go of something with others. You see, I practice day by day with the phrase that my teacher taught me. So that's how I grow in the practice. Thank you.
Just briefly, I feel similar to Sister Blue Sky. I don't feel like I change much. And I think for me, that's because I don't look to feel like I have to be better than who I am now. And I trust in the Sangha to help me to transform. So I put my complete trust and confidence in the Sangha to move me along. We have Shining Light practices, we have beginning new practices to help us to transform our habit energies. I don't look for a better me tomorrow or next year. I am quite happy with me, with all the problems or the difficulty that I have now. And I just slowly look into them and change them and not expecting anything grand in the future. Yeah, I'm quite content. Yeah, thank you. Please bear with us. We got 2 more questions.
Thank you. My name is Josh. Dear Thai, dear Sangha. My question is about, my question is how to choose a focus for practice. And I currently do a lot of the body practice. What am I feeling? What are the thoughts it generates and that kind of thing. If I go to the library, I see Thai has written 20, 30, 40, how many books? I guess if I boil it down, like how do I choose a good focus for something to, because I read the mindfulness trainings, they're wonderful. How do I choose a good focus among everything that's out there in the sutras and the books by Thai, and there's a lot. And then relatedly, how do I think doing it all on my own isn't quite working, and how do I find and if I go to a Sangha, first of all, it's hard to find, and then it can feel kind of impersonal, like to really talk to someone like, what am I doing? How do I implement it? How's that going? Where's, I don't know, the companionship in that or something? I think I have a question about how to find that, and yeah, those are my questions.
Thank you for the question, dear Tide, your beautiful community. I heard two questions in there. I'm going to start with the second and work my way back, and then I think my brother Yule may wish to share as well. So actually you spoke to an announcement I was going to make today because we have a wonderful website, plumline.org, and I will make sure some of this information is on the whiteboard before we leave tomorrow. And that has not only a way to find sanghas, but information about how to build a sangha, resources to support you if you are building a sangha or you're a sangha facilitator. So we've, as a community, this is relatively new, but we have really begun to pull together a lot of resources to support people. And that's a great question because that is how we support our practice. This was so important to Thai. I suspect I wouldn't be the only one up here telling you that Sangha has been so important for me, for my own practice. And I'll share one other thing. One of the things I so appreciate about our practice is that it's not just about being on the cushion. So we can find ways to practice throughout our day. It might be just when I'm prepping dinner, am I bringing my mindful awareness to chopping the carrots or whatever it is I'm doing? Am I bringing my mindful awareness to when I'm washing my dishes? Am I bringing my mindful awareness, as Sister shared before, when I park my car and walk to the grocery store or wherever I'm headed, so that I have these opportunities all day long to practice. In terms of focus, reading is not everyone's Dharma door. It happens to be one of my favorites. And Thai, so start practical. There's some deep, deep teachings in the books that Thai has written, and very practical. He has a whole book just on anger, a whole book on fear. So start with what's coming up for you and find the book that may begin to speak to that and let that guide you from there. That would be my suggestion. So thank you. And I'll defer to my elder brother here.
Hi, this is Gitanjali here. Dear Thai, dear Sangha. I'm feeling a bit of a dilemma here to ask question or not, because I'm worried if I'm making my friends hangry, holding you back from getting your lunch. But if I have your support, I'll go ahead. Thank you. So I've been practicing with the local Sangha, which I have found really helpful. And I'm becoming better with the here and now practice from Thai. However, I struggle with his teaching about looking deeply, because it takes me to the past, and also sometimes touch the seeds of suffering. And then I question Buddha's teaching about not staying in the past and regretting. So what is, first of all, why looking deeply and not thinking deeply? And how do you do it? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I'll try my best to share what I know. Why looking deeply and not thinking deeply? And that is because we, by nature, are thinking animals. We think a lot. And many of the things that we think are actually not very helpful, not very useful. And so looking deeply is I think it's translated from the Sanskrit word vipassana. And when you want to practice looking deeply, you have to plan. Otherwise, our minds will go there. You mentioned the Buddha said not to dwell in the past, and that is why, because when our mind goes to the past, we either become nostalgic or regrets. All these negative emotions associated with the past. Sometimes happiness, if you have a happy past. But being in the past like that, you're losing yourself in the past. You're not in the present moment. And there is actually a sutra on that, the sutra on being in the present moment, and it describes about how you think yourself in the past this way, and then you reminisce and you miss and you suffer. And the same thing for planning in the future. It's okay to plan, but if you dwell and live in the future, it's not realistic. What's realistic here is in the present. And so the Buddha's teaching is not about preventing you from learning from your past experience. So when you practice looking deeply, you have to do that in the present moment. And before you practice looking deeply, you have to practice stopping, samatha. That means pausing, coming back, relax, rest, recuperate, bring some joy, and then look deeply. And usually it's best to do that while you're doing sitting meditation. You bring up a subject that you want to contemplate upon, and you look deeply into that. For example, and you have to practice. Start with something tangible. Contemplating on looking deeply into a flower. And Thầy said this many times. You look deeply and you see the flower is made of non-flower elements: earth, soil, water, sunshine, gardener, etc. That is practicing looking deeply in the present moment. At the moment you find yourself reminiscing, oh, I missed that flower I had last week, or I plan to get another vase of flower in the future, then you're not looking deeply anymore. You're thinking, and you're lost in thoughts. So every once in a while, you have to come back to your breath and remind yourself that you are in the present moment, and then do a little bit more of looking deeply. And then you move on to another object, your child. Your child is changing every day. The composition of your child, you, the dad, the grandparents, the food, the education is making up your child. And the reason your child is behaving this way is because of all these different conditions: his age, his environment. And then you can use yourself as a subject of meditation, of looking deeply. I am in this state at this moment, and these are all the causes, the conditions. And then at some point, you thought about a mistake you made in the past, and then you starting to be emotional. You're not looking deeply then. So you come back to your breath. Say, I'm going to do this another time. So looking deeply, you have to do it in the present moment. And you're looking for the causes, the conditions that gives rise to what is happening right now. And when you do that, you're able to see the way out of that situation, if in fact you want to change the situation, and there is a path. I hope that helps. In a nutshell. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, everyone who's remaining here. The teens, you guys are great. You sat all the way, that's 2.5 hours, 2 hours. But that's a lot for all of us. But thank you so much for your patience in listening and supporting our friends who asked the question and supporting us for giving answers. We're here once, we hear 3 sounds of the bell. Let what we heard, what we listened, just settle, and then we can massage our legs when we hear some announcements, and then we go to lunch. Thank you again for your participation.